Hi, hello, and welcome back to a podcast where I talk about going from corporate drone to corporate dropout. You know it, you love it. Welcome back to Chaos and Fuckery. And today is the day. I am recording this ahead of April 5th, but for those who are on TikTok know, April 5th is yet another doomsday for us TikTokers. April 5th is the day that supposedly we get the ban hammer again for like the 500th time. Do I believe sitting here on March 28th that we will get the ban hammer on April 5th? No, not really. We saw lights out for 12 hours in January, and that was the extent of it. However, the app changed. While it wasn't some big conspiracy theory like everyone wanted to think that Meta bought it or that it was now state-owned media or Trump was taking it over, it did change. And by that I mean moderation got tighter for the dumbest things. I recently was doing a series of short form things that I called basically call out culture to the fitness industry, where I was talking about different things in the fitness industry that I haven't talked about in the past that make me mad, or giving my opinions on certain things. And every single one of those got flagged for one reason or another. I had one that was flagged for substances, which made no sense. I had one that was flagged for sex and nudity, which also made no sense. And then I had one that was flagged for misinformation, which sure, maybe some fitness topics can be misinformation and others of them can just be flat out opinion. And in my case, I appealed it and it was just flat out opinion. I appealed all of these things and won all of my appeals, but had I not noticed that my views were down on those videos, I wouldn't have known to appeal them. Because that's the funny thing about TikTok, is unless you get a comment taken down for a community guideline violation, they don't tell you when your videos are not eligible for the FYP or when there might be an issue with them that could get your account fucking banned if you don't appeal it. Which is insane. Why I get 5 bajillion notifications about people following me on Lemon8, but you're not going to tell me when my video potentially has an issue that I need to appeal? So that I'm not even a creator that makes money on TikTok. I could only imagine how maddening this system is for those that do actually make money off of FYP views. I can't imagine, but that's not the point of this. The app has changed since the first ban. When we were talking about the loss of TikTok in early January and everyone was doing their, well, the app is going, so here's my secrets, and then had to backpedal them all because it came back 12 hours later, there was a mourning process for a lot of creators. Because realistically, even if they are on other platforms, there was something special about the algorithm and the community and the way you interacted, right? You could be a person on Skinny Talk, but you could also be a person that likes body neutral content. And it's not all just garbage fitness bros and the toxic masculinity to alt-right pipeline that fitness can be sometimes. When it comes to gaming, it wasn't all just shooters, and you could actually be a creative in the gaming space and do funny things like Discord skits or gamer couple skits. Skit work got a lot of light on TikTok that I don't think it saw on other platforms, because what I would do on something like TikTok versus what would do well on something like Instagram are not the same thing. Instagram promotes perfection and B-roll content and giant captions on the screen that I loathe. I would rather speak to you person to person in a video or on a podcast or just on a call, than write you walls of text and caption that you probably won't read. I hate writing captions, and I hate copy in general as a marketing strategy, right? We're talking about Facebook groups and things that people use as marketing to build that know, like, trust for online coaches, for online businesses. Are they good ways to build community? Yes, but also I'm not reading it, so I know the people that I want to work with probably aren't reading it either, right? I don't even read. My mentor is one of the best people in the copy space. He is a genius when it comes to copy. I can't even read his. That is how much I don't want to read long walls of text on social media. I don't like it, and I know a lot of other people don't either, so I don't create that style of content. I create videos. And that is the love an app like TikTok gave a lot of people. To the people that didn't want to post a pretty photo and a long caption, you could go on a rant for 3 minutes or whatever your time on TikTok was at the time and share whatever it is that you were sharing with the world and potentially go viral for it. It allowed creatives to come out of the woodworks in ways that other apps didn't at the time. But now I fully believe that there are somewhat competitive environments to TikTok now. Shorts being one of those things that if you put the time into YouTube, not just as a shorts creator, but also as a long form creator, it pays off tenfold in comparison to something like TikTok. I went through a mourning phase with the first ban, and as a business owner, there is still a little bit of mourning for sure. Not because I don't think I can make it on other platforms, not because I don't think I can make it without TikTok now, but because TikTok brought me a lot of the community I have now. And if it does go, I'm not sad about it this time. I am not so wrapped into TikTok culture that I have to be like that I will be, accidentally opening the app if it does go down. I'm not going to delete it like people who did last time in the case that, they pull a 180 again and we get it back instantaneously. I'm not doing that. But the app is different. It is no longer the app that I would put all my time into to build a creative community on. It doesn't treat its creators the way it once did. They don't support all sorts of differing opinions. It is becoming very not light ringing, right wing leaning. And while I can agree to disagree on a lot of things, there are some things that I just don't want to see on my feed on a daily basis. And when we came back from the original ban, I started seeing a lot of those things. I am firm in my agnostic spiritual beliefs. I don't want to have Bible ads shoved down my throat when that has never been the type of content I interact with. And as a business owner, why is that? I've had to become clearer with who I am, because if you're not, people will start to speculate and you'll start to slowly see the decline of the community you once cultivated. Being middle of the road, being centrist, being, agree to disagree is no longer acceptable in today's society. And as a business owner, that's really fucking hard. Not because I don't want to piss people off, because I'm okay with doing that. I am not for everybody. As a fitness coach, as a creator, I am not for everybody, and I accept that. However, I don't want someone to think that my community is a place where they can openly look down on and offend other people. I have to have this conversation with my mother often. When we are at Disney, one of our favorite things to do is people watch. I like to see all of the crazy things when people are hiking around Disney in heels, or specifically at Halloween Horror Nights, the crazy outfits that people survive the night in. But I'm not judging them, because you do you. I just think I could never, right? I think it's interesting that people willingly wear some of these things to theme parks. The only time I'm genuinely judging, and this is an elitist thing, if you will, is when you wear another theme park's merch to the theme park you're at. So say Mickey ears to Universal. I hate that shit. No. Wear a regular baseball cap or something. It doesn't have to be theme park merch. Just don't wear the other theme park stuff. Specifically when it comes to ears. I'm not as mad if it's just a t-shirt or something, but ears, really just no and no. But that's a different rant altogether that has nothing to do with business. But the point being is my mom takes people watching to a whole new level, and I have to turn to her and be like, does it impact you? No? Then okay. We don't need to discuss it. We don't need to have commentary on it. And being in the fitness space, everyone has an opinion about everything. And I don't want people to think that my space is okay to shame people for being a part of body positivity. But I also don't want them to think that I am the type that condones the people that shame those in the body positivity world that want to lose weight. Both are acceptable. And that is the side of TikTok that I'm starting to see that I don't like. Previously, and maybe it was just where I was on TikTok, previously it was very accepting and very agree to disagree and very centrist, if you will. I got all sides of the fence and I didn't have any particular ideology shoved down my throat. But now, even with my algorithm being my algorithm, and I don't interact with that type of content, I'm getting a lot of right-wing maggot nonsense. And I say specifically right-wing and MAGA because I do not believe that the current day MAGA people are true Republicans or true conservatives. I grew up in a very conservative family and I still talk to my very conservative family because even they are some of the most accepting people in the world. And while yes, none of my family members have openly come out as members of the LGBTQ and we haven't had to deal with that close to home, our extended family do have members, and no one has ever been shamed or told they can't show up to things because of who they are. And my family, I fully believe a majority of my conservative family is more centrist and more common sense based. I don't love the fiscally conservative, socially liberal, because I also think that liberals in today's day and age have jumped off the deep end. There are two extreme parties and there is no in between. And being a centrist is now something that you are told you're not allowed to be. You're not allowed to share values. And this is happening a lot on TikTok. This is why I'm bringing this up. It's why do you still talk to your family if they voted for Trump? And I get it. I do. Full-heartedly, I get it. But not all of people's conservative family that might have voted red in some places of the ballot. Again, this is where being a centrist comes in. Some, and again, people are hating on people that didn't vote or left president blank. Well, if you don't like either option, you're supposed to be voting for the representation you want. If you don't like either option, don't vote for either option. And it's that simple. Why would you shovel down? Why? It's like settling for a husband, in my opinion, when it comes to that. I am not gonna settle for something just because I don't like either the extremist of other side. Either I do lean a little bit further to the left, but I am still very much so a centrist, as is a majority of my family, and I don't want to have the extremism in my day-to-day consumption, nor do I want to be viewed as an extremism creator. And that seems to be one of the only ways to do well on TikTok post the original ban, is being an extremist, which I do not want. I do not want to go so far, right? Fitness is known for being an alt-right pipeline, if you will. I am never going to be the type of fitness coach that's screaming at you about seed oils and how everything's poison in our foods. Because the reality is that's just not true. But those types of people in the fitness space are who does really, really well on TikTok. The ones screaming at you, Fresh and Fit weren't really fitness guys, but like they talked a lot about fitness content. A lot of people believed in who they were. And not Andrew Tate's, Andy Frisella's, the 75 Hards of the world. Those are the types of things that go viral on TikTok. Those are the types of things that bring in the visibility. And that's why I am not going to be upset if we lose it. I was in a mourning process of TikTok the first time because I didn't think there was a chance in hell I could meet my goals as a business owner without it. But now I've seen the power of YouTube. I've seen the power of putting the work into YouTube, and I knew it was a beneficial business move when I started, but it was hard at the beginning, and I almost quit about 500 times. It's hard. Business is hard, but YouTube is a unique level of hard as a content creator if all you did was short form prior to that. TikTok meant a lot to me, but now it just feels I'm tired of the whiplash. As a business owner, you need something stable. And obviously people will say, own your audience, right? Don't rely on a social media platform. And sure, and you could go back to in-person stuff. Yeah, if I didn't work a 9 to 5, sure. If I had people funneling money into my business and all I had to do was go do the marketing and be in person and do all these events, I would gladly do in-person marketing and events. Don't get me wrong, I would gladly do that shit. But I don't have that kind of time. I am not a full-time business owner. Nor do I have COVID era level of absolutely nothing else better to do in my life. Business is important, but the virality of something like TikTok made business easier for small business owners. And I cannot deny that. TikTok made other platforms innovate. Reels came post TikTok. Shorts came post TikTok. And realistically, TikTok wasn't the first. You had Vine and you had Musical.ly that then became TikTok. TikTok was just the one that stuck. Or at the time, it was the one that stuck. But if we lose it today, I'm okay as a business owner. I didn't think I would be. I thought the loss of TikTok would be detrimental to my business. But honestly, not only does it just give me more time back when I'm not doom scrolling in my bed, it also allows me to put the time where things really matter. And if that's here on YouTube, that's here on YouTube. If that's in my clients, when I have a handful of them in my roster, that's in my clients and not in content at all. That's never true. Never putting my time into content would never be a true thing as a business owner, but because I genuinely enjoy it. However, not having to constantly scroll for audios and not having to constantly think of the next big thing, whether it be a series or a caption for an audio video, or do I post once a day? Do I post 5 times a day? Do I post 80,000 times a day? Not having to think about short form media anymore is a blessing to me as a business owner. And I won't miss it, truthfully. Back in January, when the first ban came down, I absolutely was like, I'll miss it. I miss the community. But at this point, even the community I built on TikTok has seemingly disappeared post the ban. There are a few new people that have appeared and new supporters and things like that, but it doesn't feel as connected anymore as it once did. And so at this point, I think I've kind of let it go. If it doesn't fully go away, obviously I'll just keep posting. But I'm not going to go out of my way to create content specifically for TikTok anymore. And that's okay. Changing business is okay. But if we do lose it, it's not the end of the day. Yes, my community is 10 times bigger, roughly, over there than it is here. But that doesn't mean we can't build it here. It doesn't mean that I can't make it grow twice as fast here. And at the end of the day, TikTok is not worth it anymore. The constant bans, the constant community guideline violations that could get my account taken down in an instant. The constant need to evaluate the state of what does well and what the SEO has changed, what the algorithm has changed. I don't want to be a part of that anymore. The cycle ends here, I guess. It's no longer my primary platform. And I'm okay with that. The whiplash, it literally feels like whiplash to be sitting here again talking about a TikTok ban. And I said I was in mourning the first time, and I was mad and I was angry that our government was doing this, and I still am. I think it is government overreach. Absolutely, the TikTok ban is government overreach. And Donald Trump trying to claim that he saves the day with TikTok and he's gonna make this big deal by, lowering tariffs on China if they play ball or whatever. Sir, you were the one trying to get it banned in the first place. Why would they play ball with you? Why? You were the one who activated all of this in your first administration. No one cared about TikTok until you got butthurt that TikTok went after you. So I'm tired of, the government acting like toddlers, but that is not related to TikTok alone. That is a lot more than that, honestly. It is many things. And, at the end of the day, if TikTok does go, it is a sign of how petty our government can be. If it doesn't go, it's just another extension and more whiplash. Because at this point, I think we know. TikTok's not divesting. TikTok's not selling. And I don't blame them. Your intellectual property as a tech company, like an algorithm like TikTok, is just the soul of your company. The company is worth less without the American component. And the algorithm is untouchable. Or at least it used to be. I don't know that I would say that anymore. I think Shorts is starting to have the better algorithm, truthfully. But that's okay. I'm almost like tempted to just get rid of it like I did Meta. But I know that it'll harm me from a growth point if I do that, unless it officially goes away. I know I need to keep posting. I know I need to beta test the new apps that might be coming up behind it. But I just don't want to do short form anymore. I just don't. And that sounds crazy coming from me who literally loved creating short form content. I always feared long form content. And now here I am creating multiple long form pieces a week on 3 different channels because I can. Maybe it's because I like to talk. I don't know. But I'm okay if TikTok goes away. Yes, I do get a lot of my news from TikTok. Or at least I get the initial thought to go research it from TikTok. But I think mentally I might be better if I don't know a lot of those things. Being oblivious to politics and not caring as a centrist was some of the best mental health years I've had in the last 3 administrations. So maybe caring about politics is just not good for my mental health. Maybe caring about other people. No, because as a fitness coach, I have to care about other people. But no. I like to joke a little bit that, caring and getting involved is now, ruining my mental health because the world is going to shit. But that being said, if you are a fellow small business owner that is feeling the loss of TikTok or had felt the loss of TikTok in previous bans, what are you doing now? How have you changed your game plan to be able to sustain your small business without it? Did you change anything? Or are you just assuming, like the rest of us, that it's not actually ever going away and we're just going to be in a constant state of whiplash of it's getting banned, no it's not, it's getting banned, no it's not, and continuing to create for the platform that you, I'm assuming, loved at one point? What did you change? I'm genuinely curious to hear from other small business owners. What did you change when all of the bans first started coming out? Because I'll admit, I wasn't even on TikTok when the first ban dropped. Or the first idea of a TikTok ban dropped. I have only been through the January 19th one. And, obviously all the Congress stuff that came that led to the 19th one. I haven't been through other ones because I got on TikTok late. So if you are a small business owner that completely blew up or was changed by TikTok, I'd love to hear your story. And if you're okay with me sharing it, also do that in the future. But genuinely just hear it. How did you change your content strategy? Did you change it? Is the loss of TikTok actually going to be as big of an impact to small businesses as people have made the argument that it is when it comes to arguing against the TikTok ban? There's companies like Chloe's Giant Cookies. I love her cookies, by the way, that got their start on TikTok and blew up because of it. And because of her story, obviously. But the business blew up because of that. Are there other small businesses out there that are feeling the potential loss once again and the whiplash? And how have you changed? Have you been able to make up the difference amongst all of these bans in your communities, transferring to new platforms? I'm genuinely curious because I feel the difference in starting to put the time into YouTube. Is it more difficult? Absolutely. But it's also more rewarding. So let me know. But that is my little rant about TikTok as we are facing yet another ban. Who knows? By the time this actually releases, you may not actually ever see the ban. But as of right now, it is still a potential thing. And supposedly, it's supposed to be banned on the day that this releases. So that is a lot of chaos and a lot of fuckery all wrapped into one tiny app. So many small businesses can be affected by the potential of this app going down. And while I was originally one of those people who relied heavily on TikTok for my clientele, I am no longer one of those people and would love to hear other stories of people that either saw success or realized that TikTok was their home and, are going down with the sinking ship. What kind of fuckery are you creating? What kind of chaos are you creating to make sure that this severe government overreach doesn't end your small business. And with that, I hope you enjoyed the chaos and welcome to my fuckery.